The Bruce is loose.com.
Now listen up, ball fans. Once again, this is the Diddle, and I'm here to tell you why Tennessee makes a great case for a #1 seed. Listen up, ball fans. In such volatile times of turmoil and suspense, we must unite as one voice and stand up against hypocrisy, greed, and injustice. We must stand up to the Dark One, hands and foam fingers interlocked, and shout to the top of our lungs our decree. The Vols deserve a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. In case you aren't familiar with my reference to the Dark One, I'm talking about the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network, or ESPN. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I'm an ESPN junkie. Because of my rabid obsession, I actually tried to give up the network for Lent, finding out the hard way that without an hourly dose of the ESPN, I suffer massive spinning headaches and slight vertigo. But listen up, I'm putting a few things about ESPN on notice. That's right, Stephen Colbert, the Diddle's got his own on notice board, and I hope to add something new to my on notice board each day until tournament time. First on the list, Digger Phelps. First of all, Digger Phelps was actually born Richard Phelps, which makes total sense to me, since I've been calling him Dick Phelps all season. This guy is a total cartoon character. From his ridiculous point of view, mindless predictions, and horrid fashion sense. And in case you hadn't noticed, Phelps always holds a colored highlighter in his hand that matches his necktie. I'm not lying here. If Digger's got on a red tie, he's got a red highlighter in his hand. If he's wearing a green tie, yeah, you guessed it, green highlighter. I think he's looking to gain a new sponsorship or something. And talk about mildly creepy, check out the video of Digger Phelps' Digger Revolution posted on my blog. Now, I've had to listen to Digger's auditory feces for too long. In fact, I'm going to put the entire college game day, game night, whatever they call themselves, crew on my on notice board. I had to listen to each and every one of them, other than Hubert Davis, if I remember correctly, talk about how Memphis was just too athletic or too dominant to let a team like Tennessee beat them in their own house. Good prediction, boys. Then, during the second biggest game of the year, UNC and Duke, just the other night, the game night crew took the time to discuss, before the entire nation, their 4 #1 seeds for the tournament. And not a single person had Tennessee on their list. These are the kind of jokers who continually pick Ohio State as their football national champion and vote Notre Dame as a preseason top 5. These are the kind of guys who ordain the ESPN darlings of Duke, UNC, UCLA, and Kansas as preseason quadra-split national champions, only challenged in greatness by the second coming. Good gracious. Alright, I'm going to take a second to calm myself down here and get back to my original point. Tennessee deserves a #1 seed. Now, I'll be the first to admit the other teams in contention for a #1 seed are strong. Really strong. But there's growing sentiment around the nation that Kansas should receive a #1 seed instead of Tennessee. So I've taken the time to examine their resume to see if they match up to that of the Volunteers. Now, Kansas, I'll be honest, I think Kansas is a great team. But what have they really proven this year? If I remember correctly, isn't Kansas the team that receives a #1 seed pretty much every year, only to be knocked out before ever even reaching the Final Four? Over the past decade, they've been the ultimate joke. This year, they've got 3 losses, just like the Vols, and they don't have a single defining win. And don't try to tell me that a victory over Baylor, Arizona, or USC counts as a marquee win. As of the current rankings, Kansas doesn't have a single win against the current top 25 team. I swear, check it out. They did play Texas and got beat, but they don't have any marquee wins. Wins like Tennessee over 22nd ranked Gonzaga, Tennessee over 16th ranked Vanderbilt, Tennessee over 8th ranked Xavier, or Tennessee over 2nd ranked Memphis in their own house. Now, it's time for me to mention Tennessee's laundry list of reasons why Even without winning the SEC tournament, Tennessee deserves a number 1 seed. Are you ready? First of all, those marquee wins I'm talking about. Wins over number 22 Gonzaga, number 16 Vanderbilt, number 8 Xavier, and number 2 Memphis. Second, they got a 28-3 record. Now this 28-3 record is the best in school history, and with only 3 losses on the road to number 5 Texas, number 16 Vanderbilt, and bubble hopeful Kentucky at Rupp Arena, I think the Vols are looking pretty dang good. And what else? The Vols were number 1 in the RPI. The NCAA looks very favorably on their RPI, or ratings percentage index, and the Vols have been on top of that list all season. Now, another reason, the schedule. Check out Tennessee's schedule. Tennessee has the number 1 toughest schedule in the land. Unlike other potential number 1 seeds, Tennessee actually decided to play somebody in their out-of-conference matchups. With wins over, again, Xavier, Gonzaga, West Virginia, Ohio State, Memphis, plus a 14-2 record in the SEC. Good gracious. But what about Tennessee's recent tournament history? Last year, the 5 seed, Tennessee was 2 points away from knocking off second place tournament finisher Ohio State in the Sweet 16. And if you guys remember, last year's team was identical to this year's team. Oh, except for additions of Player of the Year hopeful Tyler Smith and athletic phenom JP Prince. And what about the senior leadership of the Vols? With the 3-point threat tandem of seniors Chris Lofton and Jawan Smith, 2 players whose pictures are now listed beside Ice Water Veins and Clutch in Webster's Dictionary, Tennessee has the leadership and dedication to make it to the Final Four. And oh yeah, the Wolfman, Jordan Howell, he's pretty bad with the bone too. And my final reason for the Vols being a number 1 seed in this year's NCAA tournament, my man, my father, Mr. Bruce Pearl. As the obvious candidate for Coach of the Millennium, I am making the prediction that the Vols won't even play a tournament team until at least the Sweet 16, because opposing schools, they're going to simply forfeit, saving the inevitable embarrassment of Wayne Chisholm continually dunking on their faces for 40 minutes in a fashion that even their distant cousins would feel like they had been hit in their groin. Now listen up, Vols. I know how these analysts can make your blood boil, but listen, Dicker Phelps and the Game Night crew get paid for their mouths, not for their brains. Not even ESPN's bracketologist agrees with Game Night's verbal doo-doo. ESPN even predicts Tennessee as the number 1 seed in the Midwest bracket. Bring it on, Birmingham. Now listen, we're going to get our number 1 seed. Until we do, I hope this post has helped you brush off the haters. Now, as far as tomorrow goes, senior day, I'm actually going to petition the NCAA to extend the years of eligibility, because I'm just not ready to say goodbye to these seniors. Let's all arrive early, stay late, and show our appreciation to the founding fathers of the new era of Tennessee basketball. Go Vols. The Bruce is truly loose.